This past month, we had the Computer Olympiad, which was held remotely, of course, and it was quite a flop for me. The problem was that a lot of the other competitors were in other time zones, and there was some trickiness in getting everybody coordinated. I couldn't really stay up too much. I have work to do during the other hours of the day. And so I got the most important contest through with, and I kind of gave up on the ones that weren't so important. And it made me rethink about my priorities. I got through the two conferences that I cared most about, the Dots and Boxes and the Clobber. And the rest, I kind of took a look at it, and if I couldn't find the right people, it was that. And it's made me rethink when we go back to social life, how I'm going to handle my life. You see, the last couple of years, I've been totally consumed, at least with my free time, I've been totally consumed with the Computer Olympiad. There are certainly other things I wish I had done. So to give you an idea, in 2017, I competed in the Computer Olympiad. It was held in Amsterdam. And that ate up most of my vacation time. I took the few days I had left and I took a side trip to Warsaw and Gdansk. I think you guys saw my videos on that. Now, when I was in Warsaw, I got to know the owner of the hostel and their daughter. I think she was 16 or 17 years old. And we had a few nice conversations. One night, I was showing her how to view I think the moon and Venus came into conjunction one night. That's a pretty common occurrence. And I was showing her, and we had a good conversation. I was thinking in the coming years, because at the time it seemed like the Computer Olympia was going to be held in Amsterdam every year. I would come back every year and eventually make my move on her. But unfortunately, in the next couple of years, the Olympiad was held in, we had one in Tokyo and another in Macau, and then there were a few other minor computer conferences. I went to one in Vancouver, BC. This was a local one. This wasn't the Computer Olympiad. And I went to one in San Francisco. Long story short, I never made it anywhere near Europe again, and then obviously we all had to lock in. And earlier in the year, when at the beginning we were only supposed to lock down for 3 weeks. I remember thinking, when this whole ordeal was over, I want to go back to Warsaw. I don't know if she would still remember me, but she seemed very interested in me. She was just way too young at the time. And unfortunately, when I went to look up the hostel, the hostel had closed down and become a quarantine facility for high-risk workers. And that was the one event that I saw that really, at the beginning of the crisis, it seemed like it wouldn't affect me at all. The fact that the hostel I stayed at became a quarantine center put the personal in the COVID-19 situation. I don't know why. At first, I kind of wanted to deny it. It's happening to somebody else. To this day, I still don't know anybody who has seriously been affected by COVID-19, at least not personally. I mean, I know people who have tested positive and recovered from it without even knowing about it, but I don't know anybody who has been seriously ill. So at first, I wanted to deny it. I don't know if the hostel will come back, but it's made me rethink. Especially, I'm an adjunct professor at a startup university right now. We're working toward accreditations. And my dean wanted me to have a talk with him about my papers and my work on the computer, artificial intelligence. He wants to put it into the accreditations. But you know what? I put all my personal time and my personal money into that. And there's no guarantee on what's going to come out of the other end, especially with COVID raging as it is. It makes me wish I had put my priorities a little bit differently in the last couple of years. Especially, when I look at the accreditation submission and with the recent papers, my papers made up like half the list. And I'm thinking, that's my own time that I put into that. And it's made me really rethink that. I gave up the dating, the vacations, in some ways my personal health, and maybe even my life expectancy. And yeah, I will certainly rethink about all this after we emerge from quarantine. Thanks for watching.